I read this week that Harvey Weinstein got rushed to the hospital from prison after a heart episode, maybe a heart attack or something like that. And as soon as I read it, I was like, rushed? Do they not know? Oh, you can take your time with Harvey. You don't got to run any red lights for Harvey. You don't need to put the siren on, just making turns like you. That's got to be tough. You driving Harvey Weinstein's ambulance. You hitting yellow lights, making decisions. Turns a little bit yellow. We wouldn't have made it. I'm sure even the guard in the prison, Harvey over here. The guard's like, oh no. Don't. That's a tough one too, because I was thinking about it, because I was thinking about it from as many angles as possible, because it's not just he's the person and it's part of the headline, but there are lots of people around him in this situation. You got to think about the people at the hospital. You know, you go to the ER, got a real bad headache, and then they run in with Harvey Weinstein. Just having a heart attack, and you're like, but y'all still gonna get me first, right? Like this hurts really bad. Can we? Or maybe you're not a patient. Maybe you're a surgeon. Imagine, because we don't know what happened exactly. Just know that he has some sort of thing happen. What if that dude had to have like open heart surgery, you know? And I don't think he did. I think we would have heard about it. But let's say he had to have open heart surgery. Let's say you're a surgeon. You work at the hospital. You went to school. You studied hard. You learned everything that there was to learn about healing someone, especially someone in dire straits, someone who's really, really down to the wire, right? And you go to school, med school, maybe do some sort of residency. I don't know how it works, but you get hired by a hospital and you come into work on a random Tuesday. Checking into work and everything, about to sit at your desk, and somebody runs in, hey, you gotta come, quick. And then they pull you into an OR, and it's Harvey Weinstein on the table. And you're like, uh-oh. Like, hurry, you gotta save him. And you're like, gotta? Like, do I really? It's like, yeah, you took a Hippocratic oath to... I was like, yeah, but when they made us... When they made us take the oath, they didn't mention anything like this. Like, I was saying it in theory. Somebody might have had to do open heart surgery on Harvey Weinstein. Someone might have had to put their hands in Harvey Weinstein. The whole time they're just like, ew, 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 ew. You know, it's insane. It's like I couldn't get it off my mind too, because it's like everybody involved, you know, they have to do their job, and their job is to heal, but you got to heal a bad person. This dude is the devil. And you know how we know he's like truly, truly evil. Not all the testimony, not all of the stories about things that he's done for decades over his career. We know that everybody knows because they made him. During the trial was when I was like, man, this guy, oof, this is worse than we could ever imagine. Because during the trial, they got him to do the thing that they get dudes to do when they're definitely guilty. When people are guilty and the jury knows it, the judge knows it, and their own lawyers know it, they all do the same thing. You can look at any case in America. They always tell this dude, hey, listen, you're going to need to act as feeble as possible. Okay, from now on, you use a walker. Do you understand me? We had never seen Harvey with a walker before. You know that man didn't need a walker, but as soon as he was in hot water, he over here can't close his mouth. Get out of here. No. They did the same thing with Cosby. You knew Cosby was guilty because they told that man to act extra blind. Cosby had been losing his sight incrementally over decades, but when it came to the trial, they put glasses on that man and he started acting. You know, he was not that blind. It's one thing to not be able to see. This man was over here putting it on, just Ray Charles in it. You can't feel the sounds. Don't do that. No, because Harvey showed up in that walker, and I was like, yeah, he did everything. Over here. No, get out of here, man. That's so insane. But I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I really do hope that he's not okay. I don't know. I can't judge anybody for not being great at their job because I've been bad at work before. I've had jobs where I look back and I'm like, they should have fired me. You know what I mean? Like I have a good attitude at work, so people, you know, they're like, oh, he's pleasant, so they let me keep coming in. But there were times, okay. I worked for a very, very short period of time at this like storage unit place. They only gave me a couple hours because I was terrible, right? But I would be late, and I would be so late that you know that level of late where you know you need an excuse? And it has to be good. It has to be great. Like you're so late that now first 10 minutes of late, you can blame traffic, right? Next 10 minutes of late, now you got to blame kids, a sick pet. You know what I mean? Something. After 30, someone has to be dead. After 30, you have to be brave for showing up. You know what I mean? You have to win them over again and be like, hey, look, you know, my whole family. But I care so much about this job that I was like, let me go ahead and do those 7.5 hours because I wanted to make sure I helped out the company. You know what I mean? And the problem with death is that you can really only use it once a year. Because if everybody die every time you late, you look like bad luck. You know what I mean? Like you look like you're really going through it, right? Because after 30, that's when you have to decide, did somebody die or am I too sick to come in? Because your boss, your manager is already going to be mad because this is a call you should have made 30 minutes before you were late, if not sooner than that. But now that you're this late, now you have to call and basically try to pretend to throw up on the phone, right? At 30 minutes late, you got to call and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I know I'm already late and I love my job so much. I love my job. like you wouldn't believe, you know what I mean? Like I had a dream last night I was on time. I had a dream that I was on time working, because you know how I love to work there, right? Like, you know, and I was doing my job, I was moving the boxes and everything, and it grew up and it felt good to be there with y'all, my coworkers, and my boss who I'm calling right now, who I know is too good of a person to hold this against me. You know I love it here. Now, there was one time I was so late. I was so late that I called my job and pretended to be my old brother. It was like, oh, Josh wanted me to call you, and I forgot. He actually told me to call you 2.5 hours ago, the exact amount of time that the manual says that he has to let you know that he can't come in by if he doesn't want to get written up. I meant to call at that time for him, but I forgot. That's my bad. His brother, not him, right? And I just basically called to tell you, he died. I used to struggle, but now I think I've accepted like how out of control I am of how I'm perceived as a person, right? Like I don't really get to decide. You can try to like maintain an image, and you can try to like curate a way that people might see you, but you can't actually control it, right? And one like optic I've never been able to fully control is like giving off like hardcore man. You know what I mean? Like just like, oh, that's a man right there, right? Because a lot of like masculinity, a lot of just general male identity is all the way down to optics. You know? It used to be a bunch of things that made you a man, you know? And some of those things were literally just judged by things that women couldn't do. So if you go back to like the 60s, and like women couldn't have a credit card or something, and you had a credit card, you're like, I'm a man, charge it. But as women made more strides and the need for a man became less in like women's lives, the whole of what it meant to seem like or be a man started to narrow, and it's narrowed down now to the point of like aesthetics, like just general optics, right? And I know I don't give those off. And not in a self-deprecating way, just in like a true, if I'm being myself, they don't come across. Like I was on a date and I could tell I didn't come off as like that man for her because I blew on my hot food too many times. From the time you're a child, your parents tell you to blow on that food because it's hot. You don't want to burn your mouth, right? And I decided a long time ago that I was as close to done as possible to doing like dumb stuff just to look like a man. I was either gonna like be a man in that moment or I wasn't. I was just gonna be honest with myself. I wasn't gonna take a hot bite and then juggle it in the back of my throat. Take a pipe and hot bite of lasagna and then that's not me. I'm gonna be real with myself. And so I went ahead and I took my fork, and everyone on planet Earth gets one blow. That's you even checking the temperature. Sometimes you bring food to your lip and it's so hot it's not even touching your lip yet, but you're like, ooh, food. But but I took too long. I also took too long between blows. I took my fork of food. I was like, doesn't hit right, you know what I mean? There's not just one thing. There's lots of things that I do. Like I also, it doesn't seem very manly, but I use a lot of napkins. And I don't mean like I have a handkerchief that I keep in a suit that's like somebody crying, I can be like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about I have Wendy's napkins in my back pocket. I was on a date, same date as the last thing. This happened right after, where, you know, because I blow my food so hard sometimes, depending on the food, and if it's saucy, it'll splash, right? And so it's one thing if you have a little something here or, you know, here, but if you blow the food so hard that it splashes up a little bit and you got a little food on your nose or your cheek and you start to look like a toddler, that's also unacceptable. Hence, I keep the napkins on me because I blow my food. I'm not giving it up, right? But she was like, oh, you have a little something right here. And so then I grabbed a napkin and I was like, that wasn't the manliest way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I should have grabbed the napkin and smeared it. You know what I mean? Just like, did I get it? I don't care. You know what I mean? That would have been more manly. Because it is just, you know, it's a part of self-acceptance. Just know there's certain things that you do. I'm not saying you can't change them, but like, I'm not gonna be myself and then wonder why people don't think I'm someone else. Do you know what I mean? So if you get a good sense of yourself, you understand why you come off the way that you come off, right? Like, I think there's 2 times where you cannot help, no matter what you try to project, you cannot help but be yourself. The 2 times are when you laugh and when you are scared, right? Because when you laugh, sometimes you don't even want to laugh. You know? Like you, sir. No, I'm just... Sometimes when you laugh, you don't even want to laugh, but it just escapes you because it's so funny. Like when a kid falls. It's not always funny, but sometimes it's very funny. They fall so stupid. Like, it's like, why is his leg up there like that? Like, do they have bones? Like, what's happening? And so you laugh, and then sometimes the laugh escapes, and you can't even control the way that it comes out. It's funny, you know. Same way with fear. You know, sometimes you get scared. You don't mean to get scared. We would all like to not be scared, right? But sometimes you're fearful, and when the fear escapes you, your reaction, that is who you are. You know? I'll give you an example. I was at my buddy's house one time, and my buddy doesn't have a good house. No, I've told him this to his face before. I'm like, you're in a bad situation. You need to improve your life and yourself, all right? Because he is in a bachelor pad with 3 other dudes, and they keep it, whatever you imagining, that's what it looked like, right? So it's not good. There's whole rags on the floor nobody will claim. I'm like, y'all can't live like this. And so he was having an argument with his roommate, and they were really having it out, which was awkward because I was over there to watch a movie that was now paused. So this doesn't have anything to do with me, but I was just over here. We had already started. We're 30 minutes in. I don't want to go home and then try to find my spot and everything. let's just watch the movie. But then they over there jawing at each other, and it's getting more and more intense, and it's awkward too because my buddy's sitting here and the roommate is standing up. When I say we're sitting here, we sitting on the floor because he doesn't have furniture. It's not a good house, and so we're sitting on the floor, and so then I'm getting yelled over because he yelling at him, but then he's standing over us, and so I feel like I'm in trouble too, and I'm like, I just want to watch the movie. Then finally his friend lays down the hammer. I don't remember what he said, but he said those like last words that you say in a fight, and he stormed off and he went to slam the door behind him, right? But because they don't have a good house, right? He went to slam the door, and the door fell off. Even badly built homes have good hinges. There's no reason for the whole door to fall off. And so this is what happened. I knew he was going to slam the door because I was looking at him when he was walking away, because I was like, okay, I can unpause it, right? So when he slammed the door, that was a loud noise that I saw coming, right? Boom. That's fine. Doesn't scare me. But I had turned my head and I had hit play, and the door, the way the hinges decided to give out was incrementally, right? And so the door didn't just fall right off. It just sort of slowly started to fall hinge by hinge until it slammed down, right? But this is a loud noise that I wasn't expecting. So then the door fell and it made that whip sound. You know, like when you just drop a book on its face. And I'm not proud of it. But when I get scared enough, I grab my chest with an open hand. And this is hard to come back from. This right here, people don't play games with this. This is bona fide bitch right here. If you do this and you don't want people to see it, you gotta go kill everybody who saw it. Because people will tell people that you did this. This is not the hand gesture of someone who's like, man, I'll kick your ass. That's never said doing this. This is the look of someone that goes to Trader Joe's and says, what do you mean you're out of peach jam? This is a never in my days gesture. This is a my word, my Lord gesture. This is what you do when the ops start shooting. I'm over here grabbing a robe I'm not wearing, right? I don't know if y'all saw it yet, but Justin Timberlake got arrested. Justin Timberlake got arrested for a DWI in what he was in the Hamptons. How fast do you have to be going as a white man in the Hamptons to get pulled over? Because I was reading the story, and this man gets pulled over, and then I guess his friends noticed that he left or whatever, so then they also left, and then they saw him getting pulled over, so they pulled up, and they were trying to like beg the cop to cut him a break. They're like, he's I don't know if he was close to home, but they were like making excuses for him. And in my head, even in that moment, I was like, why didn't y'all give him a ride? Like, that's... Justin Timberlake is so rich. How do you have all that money and you don't have a driver? That's crazy. That's so irresponsible. You got all the NSYNC money. Could have hired one of them to drive. I was reading the story. It it was heartbreaking, not even as a, I don't know what's happening. I truly don't. I truly have no idea, but like, that shit sounded like an attack. That was God, who makes that their alarm? God damn. That's the most savage. That's it feels like my high school bully came to the show. It's wild. No, you're fine. Life happens, but you gotta pick a different one, because that feels so crazy. Because the first time I heard it, I was like, maybe I'm a little too hot in this hoodie. Maybe I'm about to faint because I feel like I'm outside right now. And then I heard it again, I was like, nah, that's crickets. That's... Jeez, what? That, I didn't know we had beef like that. You were over here like... And I'm gonna sit in the front too. I got his ass. No. I got him. Damn, no, it feels like an ex paid you. That is so wild. No, I'm gonna wait till he think he making one of his little points. No, I got his ass. Oh, God. Oh. No. I don't know. I feel weird about it. I feel like maybe you look at Justin Timberlake and whatever hex Britney Spears put on is working. It's working overtime. And fame is a very interesting thing. Fame is a mystery. It really is, because Justin Timberlake is doing an arena tour. A whole arena tour. But when he got pulled over and they asked him to step out of the car, the cop didn't know who he was. The cop didn't know who he was because the cop was too young. And I don't know about you, but that hurt me. I was reading the article, and it said that the cop was too young to know, and I think I got 3 wrinkles on my knuckles. Right then, I was like, No, it was absolutely insane. Doesn't know who he was. Like, if only Justin had been pulled over by a single mom of 2. You know what I mean? Just a millennial single mom of 2. She would have been like, I'll give you a ride. Come on. No, put the lights on and everything. We gotta get Justin home. Then they took that man to jail to take a picture. That picture, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's not an album cover. That face that Justin made is the most encapsulating face of a man in trouble I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Like you can see in his eyes, he thinking about how he'll have to call Jessica. Whoa. That was wild. And then this is my conspiracy theory. There's nothing to back up what I'm saying. There's not a shred of evidence, and there's not a word from anyone that backs up what I'm saying. But I think, okay, do y'all remember Justin? You remember that decade that Justin wanted to be black? Do you remember that?
Do you remember that decade that Justin was like, ladies? Y'all remember that, right? That I feel like at first when he got there and they flashed the picture, and also I'm sure that they turned the brightness up extra on mug shots because like people who you could tell were ready don't look ready when they take the picture. That thing is so bright, it must be prolonged, make you open your eyes to be like, huh. Like it's. I think after he took the picture and he's also sobering up a bit, he was like, wait. This is just street cred. Let me go ahead and milk it, right? Because there have been varying reports on whether or not Justin was handcuffed, right? And personally, my conspiracy, I don't think he was. I feel like Justin was like, look, I know I'm about to go, but can you cuff me real quick? And the cop was like, what? It's like, can you cuff me real quick? Like, just, there's going to be people wait out there. Can you cuff me real quick? And he's like, I don't even know you. Like, please just do it. He's like, I'm not going to do that, but I'll just stand in front of the door, hold the door open. He was like, okay, all right. And then he walked out. And if you look at the thing, he's got his hands clasped together. But you don't see any like loose chain dangling. And when you zoom into the picture, it looked like a little bit of leather on that. Like, that's a bracelet. That's a bracelet. But then JT over here doing his best Malcolm X impression. My man. Another black man locked up. Oh. Yeah. Actually, okay. Did y'all see the white woman that got in trouble for saying the N-word? I know you said which one. Okay, fair enough. Okay. I say the because this was the for me. It's like other people were saying it, people were saying it all the time, but this one felt especially crazy. So I followed the story because it is captivating. Okay, so basically, okay, where do I even start? There's a thing called trad wife. Now, trad wife is short for traditional wife, right? Trad wife is like this content thing that they do on TikTok. It's spilled over to Instagram a little bit, and it's basically women doing like stuff around the house while telling women to be better women, right? It's just like, why don't you be a lady while she makes a pie or something? I don't get it. It's not for me. I'm not who watches it. But basically, there was this young white woman that was over here cooking something. It didn't look done. And maybe it was done. Maybe she's bad at it. I don't know. But it did not look done. But then she's talking about her friends. And then she says, because then some of my friends out here are just like, out here dating these guys and, broke ass niggas, right? And she says it without missing a beat. She says it like you're not going to hear it, right? So then, of course, everyone who saw this, like, it started this frenzy online, right? And so there were all these people, she did on TikTok, there was all these people commenting, replying, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? Are you trolling? All stuff like that, right? And then she makes another video, and she's like, look, I made a video earlier that offended a community or something, and like, and I've really listened to the feedback, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really give a care. Like, I don't know. It's like, so then they found her job, right? Which is crazy because you a trad wife. Why you working? Why? You know what I mean? Why are you're supposed to be a traditional wife. Why are you working at all? You can't trad wife on the side. You can't. There's no such thing as halfway crooks. You know what I mean? You got to be all in or all out, right? And so then they found her job. Then they got her fired from her job, right? So then everyone was like talking about how, she she clearly got fired, even though they don't say her name. They issued a press release because why else would they do it? And they were like, yeah, certain individual's not working here anymore. So then she starts trying to cozy up to like, you know, Newsmax and like One Nation News and just a lot of the alt-right on Twitter and everything. And she takes this spin of like, I was canceled, right? So she gets on Newsmax real quick, but she also just doesn't quite have the juice. You know what I mean by that? She doesn't quite have the like, the presence and the energy of like a real racist is gonna be a newscaster. You know what I mean? Like, she just doesn't have it. Like when you're watching her, you're like, she's saying bad things and they're annoying, but I'm not angry. She just doesn't have the oomph to get me there. You know what I mean? Like I've just never seen diet racism before, but that was it. So then she makes more videos trying to double down harder. And in these upcoming videos, she just gets way worse with it, gets like even more bigoted with it. So she's tweeting the N-word all the time. She's been tweeting the N-word nonstop since she got fired, right? And now she's making videos where she's saying the F-word, right? And so she's just going after everybody, just trying to prove how terrible that she is, right? And so then she starts trying to cozy up to a lot of these, like, especially neo-Nazis as much as she can. And then a turn takes place. An incredible turn that I could not have predicted. One of the most insane things that has maybe happened so far this century, the neo-Nazis start rejecting her as a psyop. Because they feel what I feel. They see the video and they're like, you don't mean it though. Like it's not... It's not like coming out of your stomach, you know what I mean? Like it's not, you're not even saying it with bass, you know? Like you know, like, and so then they were like, no, don't trust her, okay? Don't listen to her, don't follow her. She working for the CIA, she probably a Fed. They all turned on her. They started bullying her. It was absolutely insane. It was one of those things where then she keeps trying to cozy up to him. She keeps trying to like take pictures with him. She's going to events and stuff like that. And some of the ones that roll with her are rolling with her in real time, you know? And they're like making fun of how other people are making fun of her, but you can tell she's still not like in yet. You know, she's not like with them hard. But then there are some people that can't stand her so much. This happened like a week ago. So in the course of 3 days, they can't stand her so much that they start digging up her old tweets, right? So then another thing I never would have seen coming. They dig up her old tweets and they find old, not racist tweets from like 2 years ago where she was telling somebody, hey, that's actually appropriation. You might not want to do that. And so now she getting canceled by the neo-Nazis for old, not racist tweets. So then she over here fighting for her life, trying like N-word, F-word, everything, just throwing it all out there, trying to see what sticks. And then other people will comment under her on Twitter like, is this you, bitch? Miss Stolen Land? And she just played it. She played it poorly. That's what happened. She could have had a real shot. She could have, but she doesn't have enough of the real. You can tell she's not really racist. I know it's a weird thing to say about somebody who's been saying the N-word nonstop for a week, but you can just tell she doesn't have the fire in her. You know, that's not how you do it. You were making racist people uncomfortable. There were racist people commenting under her like, this is uncouth. That's not how you do it. If you really want to be somebody as a racist, if you really want to make waves as a bigot, you start out slow. You start with a bunch of slow and steady dog whistles over decades. You know what I mean? You never say the word outright. You throw out a thug here every once in a while. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, like on a holiday, you can get real crazy with it. You can do like a animals or something. It's like, get people going, you know? Plant your feet, but don't dig too deep. And then after a while, you know, you start to ingratiate yourself. They start to be like, hey, she's one of us. and then they bring you in, and maybe they bring you in on a temporary basis, and they give you like a little guest spot every now and again, and then after a couple decades, you get a hosting gig. You know? Because be honest, like if a week from now, Megyn Kelly said the N-word, we'd be like, yup. We expected that. She's been earning it over decades. The expectation lands right on the strip perfectly. And then we also find out that she might be single, so you're not only not a trap wife, you're not a wife. What are you doing? Where's your man right now? Like you weren't a trap wife. You were working. You were a mom, but you were working, and you're a single working mom. That's a bigger demographic to appeal to. She really put herself in the position where she really needs a husband. Like this.
Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little bitter at the moment.
Why?
I had some
It's
shows.
our 100th episode, and you're going to be bitter about it?
Not about it. I'm very happy about it. I was at some shows at Foxwoods Casino. It's in Connecticut, and
Okay.
at the casino, they have a lot of amenities. They have a lot of things for a non-gambler like me to do, right? So there was an arcade. The arcade was pretty good. It was like there's two arcades, and they only tell you about one of them, and the other one is way better. That I was like, I was
Okay.
almost more upset about that. They tell you about the first arcade, which is like got bubble hockey in it, which was amazing. So
Bubble hockey's great.
even though I lost pretty badly, it was still very fun to play. You know, there's just so much
Right.
hope when you play bubble hockey. Because even if you have no skill, you're like, wow, I almost hit the goal just then from like twisting my wrists. Anyway, so then they had the Tekken Tag, which was amazing. But they also had go-karts, and they had the serious go-karts for kids that are going to try to be Formula One racers one day. So the go-karts were not only fast, but they were like professionally done.
These were professional go-karters is what this is.
Okay, so you joke about, God damn it. What is this?
For those of you listening.
Fucking fuck. It makes me so mad, and it's just as we're recording too.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not-
got a
it
fly
doesn't-
in his face. For if you're just listening to the pod, and when I say just listening, we're hoping that this will be our a full video episode. We've got new cameras, but right now Josh is chasing a fly.
Whatever.
And is very angry about it.
Okay.
We told you nothing would change. We told you. We may be 100 episodes in. It's not a goddamn thing changing.
So what ends up happening is we get there and Vince and I go racing, right? And it's too serious when we walk in. When we walk in, it's like there's an energy in there that's like dad. You know that like sports dad, like coach dad, like almost stage dad, but for sports.
Yeah, too
energy.
intense, too
It's
intense, kind
so
of, yeah.
it's too intense when we walk in. So immediately
At go-karts?
At go-karts. But to be fair, these go-karts were dope. Like
Still though, what are you gonna
as-
turn harder? Like, what are you gonna say?
you're gonna say turn harder. All right.
Rubbing is racing, Daniel. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And so we get there. Not only do they have suits that you can wear, you can just get one of the suits that's made for like a
Like a
driver.
You mean like a jumpsuit, not a 3-piece.
No, not a 3-piece, but the jumpsuit is like legit.
Because
Like
that would be great if they had formal go-kart.
formal go-kart racing, yeah.
Please put on your racing tuxedos.
So basically we go in there and
Was that an extra? Sorry, was that an extra charge to get the uniform?
I don't think
Or was
so.
that an option?
No, I think they were
Okay.
just letting you have it if you wanted it. If you knew what your fit was, they were just letting you put it on. But the helmets were legit. The helmets, I was like, are we in trouble?
Is my head in that much danger?
I've never worn a helmet like that. The helmet made it so that my actual face was in place. Like it wasn't just a helmet. It was like a helmet that like fitted with foam pushing into your cheeks. And like it just kept everything perfectly placed. So they have a head sock for you to put on too. So you put on a head sock, which at first I thought was a sanitary thing, and apparently that's also what racers do. And
no, racers wear I think that's a lot for, safety, and also I think potentially if like fires. I think if you crash,
I guess if there's a fire, but it was actually too safe that I got nervous because I was like, why is there a flame retardant suit, a helmet that looks like it could take a bullet, and then just me with a head sock on? Like, is this bad?
Because I'd be like, if they were doing that before like an amusement park ride, you'd be like, we shouldn't get on this.
Yeah,
they're giving us too much gear. This means you will die on this.
And so we did 2 heats. And in the first heat, you have to remember, this is me remembering how to drive because I haven't driven since the last time I drove go-karts, which was 4 years ago.
That's a great point. I kind of forgot your inability to drive.
Yeah. So already that's the other thing that made me nervous. I was like, are these fast enough that I could like hurt myself or someone else? Because the last time I went go-karting, you were punching it and this little thing was like barely getting any steam.
Right.
And I watched a heat before we ran and I couldn't believe how fast they were. It was like cars. It was like straight cars.
He means the Pixar movie.
Yeah, the cars are talking. So then
he felt like a car. He felt like a cartoon car.
I get in my car, and also the way that they managed it was a little frantic because then they were getting annoyed at us like for not having been there a million times or something, because I guess they're just used to the kids that come every weekend, because there was even we were knocked back 45 minutes because they couldn't get a bunch of cars going, and the dads were so mad. It was wild. It was like I thought there was going to be a fight because the dads were so mad, and one of the dads was like, my son races for some, like, because you know how F2 is for like the kids, right?
Yeah.
So F1, they're still very young. They're still essentially kids. They're like 21, 22, whatever. But F2 is when they could be like, I don't know, 17 or something. And so this one guy is like, my son is like a prospect for, I can't remember what team he said, but it was like legit. Like I was actually getting, I was actually getting nervous. It's like,
now you're like, shit, am I interrupting practice?
Yeah. I was like,
am I ruining someone's career right now by just wanting to have some fun?
100%. Because then we start, and before we start, one of the dads is like, oh yeah, my son is a mechanic. I guess he's like a junior mechanic for something, and then he's on the team for something else. And they were complaining because they were like, oh, it never runs like this, it's always more professional. And in my head, I'm like, wait, is this supposed to be professional? Like, are we in the way right now?
What's happening?
Then it's finally our turn to race, and Vince and I go up, and the guy's just like staring at us, and he's like, grab a head sock. Like it felt like I was on a racing team that I didn't know about, because the guy was like, he had no sense of humor and he was no help at all. Like he was like, do you know what your number is? Do you know what the number? Look at your screen. Do you know what your number is? And then I was like, yeah.
You accidentally got drafted into a team, my dude.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm car 19. And he was like, all right, well, go to your car. Your race is starting soon. Go to your car. And I was like, oh my God. And so I'm just like running over to the car. I get in, and like nothing on the car feels right. I didn't even know that they had like, not like specs, but they had so many adjustments you could do in the car. And so I just get in and I'm all uncomfortable. And then the guy walking up, I'm like, I've put my seatbelt on, which is like the real strapped in seatbelt, by the way. This isn't just like over the waist. It's like chest, vest across, like zip, like fully pulling your straps in. And then the guy walks up and I was like, hits the start for my car, but then he's about to walk away. I'm like, hey, is my seatbelt all right? And he's like, yeah, you're fine. And I'm like, is there any way that I could change the pedals? Because it's real close. Like, clearly whoever was in here last was child. Like, is there anything that I could do? And then he pulled it back for me, and then it fit a little bit better. And we take off, and I was both very proud and surprised at myself how well I was controlling it from the start, but I couldn't have been more terrified about how fast it was going. Like, it was... It was so fast, and then I'm making the corners too, and I'm like, wow, I'm driving. Like, I got excited like I was on the actual highway. I was like, wow, I'm driving. This is amazing.
I'm finally a grown up.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I'm a real boy.
And then I'm in my head. I start like competing, right? So in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to pass him. And I'm like getting around. And then I passed two people, and one of them was clearly not happy about it. Like, I just found,
this is his job, and you're making a harder day at his job for him.
I found some space in the turn, and I took it, and I was very happy. I was like, wow, I passed someone go-karting. I don't even drive. Yeah. And so then maybe like 4 laps later, this guy just perfectly nicks me on the back right wheel and sends me into the wall. And so there's a reverse button.
Rubbing is racing. I told you.
So I hit the reverse, but then you're supposed to only reverse when it's clear so that you can then turn and everything. And so I keep hitting the reverse, but then cars keep coming. So then I just keep slamming myself back into the wall to avoid the people that are about to hit me. And so I'm just, for maybe like 8 minutes, I'm just slamming myself into the wall. Like, not 8 minutes, because I'm sure the race was only like 6 minutes. But like,
it was 8 minutes.
But I mean, not 8 minutes. I meant 8 times. Sorry, but like for at least 2 laps, 2 what should have been laps for me was me like slamming myself back into the wall over and over, because I was like, they're gonna hit me. Like, I'm getting in the way, you know. And so finally, I reverse, I pull out, and then I race the rest. And luckily, we did 2 heats, because then in my second heat, I was like, man. Okay, outside of that guy like bumping me, I think I have it. Like, I think I know how to drive now, and so
I'm gonna go get my license after this. I've done it.
And so then we get in the second batch of cars, and now I feel like a pro, because now I'm like, all right, rude guy, I know exactly what car to go to. I'm just gonna walk past you. I mean, whatever, and sit down. We take off again. This time, I still, only because of the race I just had, I actually think I had like a bad car with like fully.
Oh, it's the car's fault.
No.
It's the car's fault. Definitely.
I just did a race where I
definitely
knew
not
less.
The man who doesn't know how to drive. He already said that, but it's definitely the car.
I'm telling you, man, I just did a race where I knew less. I knew less about the car. I knew less about the turns. Like, everything I did the first time, I was doing for the first time. So with this one, knowing where the turns are, knowing the rhythm of when I should turn and everything, I was like, yo, this car is bad. And once you start the race, you can't just stand up. But almost immediately after I take off and I go through the first turn, I'm like, I'm in a bad car. Like, this is horrible. I had no grip at all. So then every turn with any speed, I was just drifting. I was straight up. It would have been cool if I had been doing it on purpose. I was turning. When I tell you that I was turning, and like Jason Bourne in the Rain was sliding the entire length of the turn, and then I would just hit the gas again to go straight. So for a little while, I thought I could manage it. And then twice I slammed myself into the wall so hard. And then the second heat we did was with the pro guys. So that's the heat. Like the first one we did was with a lot of like families and
okay.
kids and you know what I mean? Like people that were just trying to have fun. The second one was with the guys who showed up with their own suit.
Oh, okay.
And so then at one point I'm driving and I look around and just 3 of them are boxing me in. I'm like, what's happening right now?
It's like, I get it, especially if they're, pro racers or whatever, but like, fucking calm down.
It was wild.
Don't show up with your own suit and then want to show people up at a go-kart track. That's like showing up with a bag of clubs to putt-putt.
I mean, it's like dunking
and
on a kid. It's like dunking on a little kid.
Exactly. It's like having a caddy carry your putter for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're over at the side, it's like, what do you think? There's a windmill in the way. What do you think I should do?
Hey,
calm down, kids. Calm down.
No,
I get you're taking it seriously.
It was horrible.
Don't pick on my friend in his 30s.
No, that second car was
alone.
bad, man. I'm telling you, because the second car, I was like, I would do the thing that you're supposed to do. I'd hit a little bit of brake and I'd start to turn, and I'm still just sliding like I'm on top of water, and then
just doing
slam into a wall.
Slow and confused 3 Connecticut drifting. That's what you.
Yeah, man.
I've done that before. I've done the kind of more souped up go-karts, and then I've done the mini drag races. It was at a place in Texas. I was in like 7th grade, so I don't remember exactly where it was or what it was, but like they had like mini drag race cars. And that's all it was. You got in it and they gave you the countdown. And even as like small drag race cars that were like on a track, they had some giddy up and go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a point where on the course you go up a little bit and that up is some turns, but then there's a straight where you go down, and the straight where you go down makes the car shake so much that I thought the car was coming apart. I thought it was like a Looney Tune. And so anyway, there was one kid there that is like the future. Like there was a little kid there where I was like, hey, my man, I need to get his autograph, maybe.
You're my go-kart hero.
That kid was so fast. He clocked a lap that, just to give you an indication, the second fastest lap was like 12 seconds longer.
Damn.
So he essentially went 1.5 times faster than the second fastest person.
Did he bring his own cart too, or
No. He
just knows which one's the
Yeah,
good
he
one?
just knows what he's doing. He's a future world champion.
That's interesting.
I didn't mean to talk about any of this. It was just on my mind when you asked me.
I did not ask you, but okay.
No, when you were like, why are you
How are
salty?
you?
Why are you bitter? Why are you upset?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that I was just confused about, because I'm like, we've been preparing the last few weeks for the celebration of the 100th episode, and we did the mailbag and stuff, and you're just like, I don't know, things are bad. I got beat by some kids in go-kart.
Everybody got their own struggle. I don't know why. When I voice mine, it's like an issue.
It wasn't an issue. I was just surprised that you were in such a sour mood, and then the reasoning made it even better.
So,
How are the gigs though? How are the shows?
the shows were great. Crowds were great. It was a very fun time. I'm trying to figure out how to even describe it. So I've been saving 2 things for this episode for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to check in with you. Is there anything that's on your mind that that you want to chat about or anything?
Not in particular. No, I don't think so. I don't think, I'm in this stretch right now of where I haven't really done anything for the last couple weeks. So So that will change next month. I'm about to be very busy and on the road next month, but I haven't done a lot. I had some friends come out and see me from Chicago, which was good.
Dope.
And I maybe got a little too after it and had to vomit so much into a sink.
Okay. All right.
Just maybe that happened, and it's been a long time since I've thrown up. And that may have been the most.
That's
ever
exactly what we needed. That right there. You've
that right
done
there.
It.
You
yeah. This is the perfect tee up. Thank you for doing that.
Whoa. Okay. I didn't mean to tee him up, but here we go.
Okay. So it's a couple of things, but one thing is a thing I don't think I've ever told you about, where I went to this after party for a comedy festival. I won't say which one in case it comes back. Okay. I'd very much like to be invited back, but I went to this comedy festival's after party.
I'm about to talk some shit about it.
No, it's not. It actually wasn't the fault of the festival. It was the fault of the bar.
Gotcha. Okay.
So basically, the after party for this festival. This is also should point out, this is before COVID, and
okay.
So there was an open bar for the after party of the festival, because now this is like the last show, last everything, going out with a big hoorah, everybody open bar, right? And one of the things that the bar that they rented out for this event, I guess threw in, because I heard this later, was like, I think 100 or 80 bottles of red wine. And so it's like a lot of red wine that they're throwing in for free on top of the tab to make the bar open, you know?
Okay.
Which at the time, I think I got it. Fuck yes. Which at the time,
it's just good for a podcast when you're in the middle of a sentence to blow aggressively onto your mic.
we can edit it out.
You make it hard when you do it in between, in the middle of a thought.
You want to reslate? We can reslate.
No, I'm not going to reslate. That would be starting the whole podcast over. Reslating does nothing. We also are doing the cameras now too. So if I cut it to where you go, then it just cuts.
Yeah, but if we reslate, then won't you have a place?
Reslating? No, that's not what reslating does.
Oh, okay. So basically,
the slate is to sync everything. It has nothing to do with the edit.
All right, if you say so. So
I'm the fucking editor.
The thing that ends up happening is that they get all of these red wine bottles, which I'm assuming are the same brand, same everything. I don't know, because I don't drink, and I didn't drink that night. But
you thought they were all red brand wine?
Just red. You know what I mean? You know that red? You know the red wine that just says red on it? That's apparently the staple wine is red. Don't act like you ain't had none of that red.
I've got 80 bottles of Red's red wine.
Yeah, Red's red wine.
What kind of wine? Just red.
Just red.
Yeah, but there's different types. Don't worry about it.
Crazy enough, tastes like a junkyard.
And some of them are clearly white wines too, but they say red.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that might be some white wine with a little blood in it. So they get all of this free red wine on top of the bar tab, right? Mm-hmm. So for the most part, people are just like pushing the red wine. Like the bartenders are, and they're letting everyone know. It's like, hey, let's let people know about the red wine first, because then that might do a little something for us on the back end with the whole open bar thing. And
smart move.
Basically, I get to the after party pretty early. I'm not like a cool guy who's late, and so I get to the after party.
I was there an hour before they opened.
100%. I helped set up just some of the chairs. So I'm there.
I wasn't fashionably late. I fashionably work there now.
Guy just handed me a glass and I just ran with it, you know. So I get there on time-ish for when it starts, so other people don't start showing up for at least like 40 minutes or whatever. And I think there was, to be fair, a show that was happening at the same time that the party started. So it's not as if everyone's fashionably late. It's literally that they came right there from the last show of the festival.
Right.
And sure enough, maybe 2 hours in, so I got there on time, first hour, other people started getting there. Then an hour after that, when I tell you everybody, like, not every single person, but just about everybody that I saw with red wine starts throwing up. Like, starts really gets like really sick almost immediately. And once
like
again,
early in the night, like once they're just having drinks?
Early in the night. So this is early in the night. And it's clearly not their fault because it's people who aren't that drunk, right? And so people just start running to the bathroom.
Whatever this is,
or
it's
people,
poison.
So the 100 bottles are clearly just like spoiled wine. It's clearly just like wine that's turned, or maybe it was about to turn, and then they were like throwing it in, which...
But I don't know how wine turns like that, because people age wine for decades.
I think if you leave wine open, that's like not aging it anymore. That's like making it go bad. I feel like however you store it...
To do that with 100 bottles, though.
Man, I don't know what to tell you. People just started throwing up red, and I thought it was the end of the world. When I tell you that I thought this was it, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I prayed a little bit. Like, dude, I'm at this party, and all I know is people next to me, people in the bathroom start throwing up full red. Because mind you, I told you that to like color the context of the thing. I didn't know any of that while I was at the party. I just know people were throwing up red, which to me looks like blood.
So you, you didn't know that.
So I thought, God damn it. So I thought everybody was dying.
Right.
I thought everybody that was throwing up red was like, all right, we're here. This is the zombie movie we've been prepping for. And and then eventually a bunch of people realized that they all got sick, that they only drank the red wine. They were like, stop drinking the red wine. But apparently it's like, maybe it's how they stored it. I don't know. Because I also don't know that much about wine, but I know that a lot of people threw up.
I don't know enough either. It could, it could have had, they can get laced with salmonella or whatever too if they're bottled improperly or whatever. So I don't know. They could have just been drinking poison.
They could have. Like, I don't know. Does salmonella act that fast? Because that means that basically within an hour they must have been knocking them back. Because then within an hour they were throwing up.
Well, yeah, I don't know. This is a mystery. If you know anything about wine and how it can have this effect, email in joshjohnsonshow@gmail.com. Let us know.
Yeah, but it was pretty terrible.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and
I threw up a lot of.
Reminded me of it with your.
Well, and I was going to say it when I threw up a lot. I threw up a lot of red actually, and I was concerned because it came out and it was looking like. I'm like I didn't eat anything with tomatoes in it. It seemed like almost like because I was seeing like these chunks of it and it was all very red and I'm like, what is this? I forgot I'd ate a bunch of watermelon. So it had turned everything in my stomach red. And the chunks I was seeing that I thought were like smashed tomato parts were just watermelon that I was regurgitating.
Okay.
And it took me a sec to put that. I only put it together because a friend of mine said, he's like, the kitchen smelled very watermelon-y as you were vomiting. And I was like, that makes sense because I was concerned. But I was mainly just trying to aim.
I feel you. I forgot I had a bunch of watermelon.
I did forget that I had a bunch of watermelon that day.
Okay.
It was a fun grill out day. Had a bunch of watermelon.
So it also then, not a tight segue, but a slight segue, leads me to one of the stories I've been saving for a long time because it just, to me, is such chaotic energy. It's like as comics, we have to do that thing that people call like reading a room, you know, whether it's for comedy or for context of, you know, what's happening or something. And it's so funny
Deciding
because
if anyone after a show wants to kick your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. How quickly you should leave. And
yeah.
It's amazing
All things you got to read
to me that because it's a skill that we've had to build over years, there's just a different energy to it than in other cases. What's the best way to put this? It's like when something becomes second nature to you almost because you have to do it so often that you forget that the rest of the world isn't building that skill. There was a wedding in Louisiana years ago where these two fine people were they're fine. They're
Never has the word fine had more judgment in it.
they're
These two fine people.
yeah, they're a lot. Anyway, they
Are these friends of yours or
loosely, yeah. We don't talk that much anymore, but it's
because of what happened in this story or
no, but the story you'll see why. Anyway, so
all right.
they decided to have family cater the wedding because, you know, they didn't just, it wasn't just a money saving thing. It was like we've always wanted to have this dish at our wedding type thing, and only grandma can cook it, whatever, right?
It's also totally a money saving thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so
why buy food if you can force your grandma to cook for you?
And so the thing that essentially did them in a sense is that one of the matriarchs of the family that they wanted to cook something special was in the hospital for a little while, and that little while crossed over during the wedding. So then they couldn't do the whole prep, and you know, I mean, they were just too sick to do it. Mm-hmm. And so what comes with that is a family member stepping in and being like, just give me the recipe and I'll do it, right? Now, this is essentially one of the things that's being cooked is a pot pie, and it is enough pot pie for like 80 people. So there's like 80 guests at this wedding, and the wedding's
that's a big pie.
It's a big set of pies. It's a big pie. It's all huge. And
be great if they tried to do it in one pie, just one giant comical buffet pie.
Yeah. And so basically,
to feed everyone, I had to increase the recipe 80 times.
I'd increase the recipe 80 times, and also the pan is grandma's bed frame. So
yeah. I was gonna say we had to cook it in a small pool.
Yeah. So I mean, the pool is ruined. All right.
Wrecked.
So
wrecked.
As you enjoy this,
Absolutely.
just know you'll never swim in this thing again.
Yeah. Also, I lost my watch, so it may be in there.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
And so all you need to know is that the family member that steps in is not the one that you call off the bench. All right, this is someone who could really mess up a PB&J. So like, this is not the type of person.
You know, Aunt Caroline doesn't have taste buds.
You know, Aunt Caroline burned her tongue at 82 and never been the same since. And so what ends up happening is this family member steps in, makes the pot pie, and so what's on the plate for the dinner, for the reception, is the pot pie, and the pot pie is essentially like the main, right?
Right.
So it's like almost like beef stew type pot pie with a lot of roast in it, potatoes, peas, carrots,
Right, yeah.
all the stuff, right? Like a nice thick gravy that binds it, holds it all together, and a crispy.
That was my nickname in high school too, by the way.
What did I just
thick-
say? That
Nice thick gravy. Don't worry about it.
So anyway, they're cooking the whole thing, and then they serve, and pot pies on the plate. And then there's also a side of bread, which I just personally found hilarious, because if you get enough pot pie crust, that's just a lot of bread now. And then it was like some spinach, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like everyone got like a little brownie or something that another cousin made or something like that.
Yeah.
And so they're all eating, and they're doing the speeches, while they're eating, right? So dad gives a speech, mom gives a speech, mom and, in-laws give speeches, like everybody, right? And and then they get the DJ to play that first song. They do the dances you're supposed to do, the dad-daughter dance, the first couple dance, all that stuff like that, right? And then they open up the dance floor to everybody. I don't know. I don't actually know what was wrong. All I know is maybe an hour into dancing, maybe it's the gyrating, maybe it's just the heaviness of the pie, but apparently this thing was cooked wrong, and now nobody feels good. Like everybody is sick. Like everybody is sick off this pie. I can only imagine what it's like. That must be what hell is like, to have to dance after eating some thick gravy pie. So now you're just in your own world trying to like groove to it, but you're like, oh, 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 oh. And so everybody, they like, I don't even remember.
Cha-cha, real smooth. Oh no. Oh no.
I don't even remember I think it was a Cupid Shuffle where people started to throw up. Like
Jesus Christ.
Like and apparently, because I wasn't at the wedding, and also even if I was invited, and so
What does that mean?
I don't know. I wouldn't have gone. But anyway,
Why you hate these people?
it's not hate. It's not hate at all. It really
is
is
not hate.
It really isn't hate. It's just they're too much. And
What'd they do to you? Have they poisoned you on a previous occasion?
Probably close. That's actually not that far off. Like, yeah, I can see myself having almost been poisoned by some of them if I hung out and ate with them more. And so Cupid Shuffle's going, people moving, and then just a lot of like grabbing people to like hold yourself up, and then just letting loose, right? So this is also happening where a couple people, I think, might be. This is outdoor wedding.
Outdoor wedding?
Yeah,
it's
it's outdoor wedding. And
Because
so,
it'd be way funnier if it wasn't.
Sure.
If they're just in a reception hall.
But it's like Family Guy levels of people starting to get sick, and there's a mad dash and then a subsequent fight for the bathrooms because it's an outdoor wedding, there's not enough bathrooms. There's not like, there isn't a facility. So then there's like the sort of it's almost like a rec center bathroom. Have you ever been to one of those where it's like essentially a brick wall of zigzags and then just an open bathroom, male or female? You know what I'm talking about?
almost like a park shelter kind of bathroom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and because it's like that, it's not big. It's like 2 stalls and then a urinal trough.
Now, well, that trough's about to get full.
Yeah.
But like also, they're outside, right? And they're vomiting. But people are running to the bathrooms means
Something else is happening.
It means something else. They're not just vomiting.
Yeah.
If you need to race, because if you're outside, go throw up in a corner. Just let it go in the grass, man.
Yeah.
You're already puking on the grass dance floor.
Yeah. Well,
So now
no,
if
the
you-
dance floor wasn't grass.
Oh, did they have like a cover on that?
They put a cover, yeah.
Okay, but that's just slippery. Then.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't if something else is happening, it means there's another bodily function
Yeah.
betraying these people. Just putting that out there.
And so basically, as that's happening, it's like utter chaos breaks out because now there's a fight for the for the bathrooms, especially on like the male side. Like people are like grabbing each other and pulling each other out of the way and stuff like that. Like the family unit has broken down. Like all those speeches y'all were giving a minute ago about being a new family and having a new son and all that is gone, right? Like this is the Capulets and the Montagues, all right? All over toilets, okay?
Yeah.
And so then as this is happening, I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know anything about why this happened, but the biggest fallout of the entire event is that a cousin on the bride's side chooses this moment of utter chaos to get down on one knee and propose to his girlfriend.
Because first off, proposing at a wedding sucks. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
People are out there doing this shit. Don't do that.
I'm not
Don't
even
fucking do
on
that.
the side of like bridezilla, whatever culture thing, but that is a genuine attack. Like,
It is just
you
there's-
propose at
there's-
a wedding.
Exactly. There's no other word for it except for fucking rude. It's just rude.
It is so it's
So rude. It ain't about you.
if you propose at a wedding and that person says yes, y'all have to stay together forever. There's no divorce now.
Yeah.
That should be the punishment.
You especially can't like have a canceled engagement.
Yeah.
You gotta be right.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you're wrong, you're gonna hear about from whoever's wedding it was. That is who you are to them now. So first off, even outside of what's currently happening, don't do that.
Yeah.
Second, why then?
Why then? So
Why then? What made you think now?
I think that's also my problem.
The way she's screaming in agony
Yeah. The utter
lets me know I really love her.
chaos of that moment. And then you're like, this is it. This is what we play for.
I will say it is an immediately memorable engagement.
Yeah.
For them too. No one else will because they are dying internally. So
There's a lot
So
of
maybe-
internal bleeding right now. So
frankly, that may be actually, I'm going to amend what I said. That may be the only good time to propose at a wedding because no one knows you're doing it. Because they're turning inside out. So no one gives a shit that you're proposing right now. Because no one even cares a wedding's happening right now because they're dying.
yeah. No, it's brutal.
And then you got to go around and try to tell people like, hey, we got engaged too. And your uncle pulls his head out of the urinal trough. Good job.
Because also, yeah, that's the other thing is that you have to factor in who's now sick from pot pie drunk.
Yeah. Pot pie drunk.
And I think that's also one of the craziest things about this wedding.
Keith is a real pot pie drunk. I don't know what it means, but I like it.
Like the thing that's also so hard to handle about this entire scenario is that it was like a summer wedding in Louisiana, which means it's hot and muggy, and you had pot pie. a stomach full of pot pie as you dance and get drunk on probably moonshine? I have no idea.
Nothing I love more on a hot summer day than a fresh out the oven pot pie. I like to sit on the porch and just scald the inside of my mouth
Imagine
on some homemade hot pot pie.
Imagine burning your tongue in 90-degree weather in a suit.
Oh God!
Like there's nothing conducive with a good time.
Yeah, no. Oh,
That was brutal.
still enjoying pot pie drunk too. Just pot. Yeah, man, we're about to go out tonight and get pot pie drunk.
Just imagine you're at a wedding and this is happening to you, by the way. So you're at the wedding and you don't know what's about to happen, but you know it's a little hot.
Yeah.
And you're in a shirt and tie, maybe a suit because you want to look nice because it's a wedding. And then you're sitting outside, sun beating down because it's a day wedding.
Yep.
Because if you have it at night, the mosquitoes are coming. And so so it's like this afternoon wedding.
They're coming for that gravy laden blood.
Those mosquitoes gonna have high cholesterol when they get done with you.
You can mosquito lands on you, you can hear it breathing heavy.
Yeah. Imagine just a mosquito with diabetes now, like sitting there like, I got the sugars, something awful. You're gonna have to cut off one of my wings.
Oh man, I have overdone it. Hey, a proposal.
And so imagine you go to that wedding, you're sitting there, it's hot, and then you finally get your food, which a lot of like it's getting better now that more people are taking control of their wedding and how they want to do it. But traditionally, when people do things the old way, the food only came when you were starving. Like like weddings when I was a little kid, you go to somebody's wedding. I'm talking about when I was like itty bitty. I would go to someone's wedding and be like, hey, why haven't we eaten yet? They got married like 2 hours ago. I don't know what that has to do with my life anymore. And so then now a lot of weddings that I've been to, especially recently, have like a nice like rhythm to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, generally, I would agree with that.
And so then imagine you go to that wedding, you're already hot, you get served a piping hot pot pie. And then there's just Rebel Yell in the back, which is a liquor, but like there's just Rebel Yell to drink to wash down the pie.
I thought you meant the Billy Idol song is just playing.
No. There's a drink.
No, I knew what you meant. Just dancing with a plate of pot pie in the midnight hour.
And so then you start dancing, which is just shaking up your hot stomach. And then in the midst of the chaos of you trying to pull yourself together, you see a knucklehead near one of the tables proposing to his very sick girlfriend.
Do you know, did he try to get other people's attention?
I don't think so.
Everyone?
No.
Okay.
He like straight up just did it. But then anyone who wasn't sick, which also that's a good way to tell who doesn't like your cooking, because if anybody wasn't sick, they don't roll with what you make.
But now they're about to be sick because they're seeing a proposal at a wedding.
Yeah. And then it got back to the bride who ended up getting very sick. And then it got back to the bride. She was like, you tried to ruin my wedding, and now they don't speak anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I mean, why would you?
Because it'd be great if actually she was about to throw up and she's like, someone needs to distract you. Propose. Go. I don't. Do something. Everyone.
Oh man. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
then
pretty great.
the other one, that I've been saving for quite a while.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Still, you still kind of tipped it when you talked about your slight bender with your friends.
My slight bender.
Yeah, because I don't actually know what the full definition of a bender is, so
Well,
I said
mean, yeah,
slight because you
thing
got
is-
sick.
No, it was just like, I think it was like I just ate a little too much and drank a little too much. It wasn't that wild. It's because I'm older and I don't like party now.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take as much, but I haven't like just had a weekend with my friends in a while. So
Out here, I got you. Living the dream, killing them, laying it down.
in the sink. Yeah.
Juicy.
Getting real juicy on the weekend. Getting that pot pie drunk. Yeah.
Just a stomach full of gravy. And then you out here trying to dance to Usher's Yeah.
Burp, 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 burp. Burp, 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 burp. Blah.
And so the second one is is one that was told to me in college. Basically, you know how that's actually a big thing in the South where a lot of people get married very young. Like we're talking 21, 22. Like it's a small
Same
town
up
thing
here, man.
sometimes, and sometimes it's a
Hell,
culture thing.
I got married at 22. So
Yeah. It's like it's just a thing where
Totally get it.
you're with your people and you get to know someone so well from proximity that for a lot of people it does make sense, especially if you're not going to move. Like imagine if you're not going to move from your
Right,
small
yeah.
town. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out how best to frame this for you. Because I'm trying to think of like which perspective is the best to tell you from.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to do it from the third perspective, which is the friend that told me, instead of either person. So
Okay.
they were hanging out.
Third person omniscient.
Yeah,
narration is what we're going for
essentially
here.
third person omniscient, because I know what's going to happen. They didn't know what was going to happen. But if I pick a person to tell you, it might leave too many blanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So they are they are friends with two people. Let's just call them Sarah and Tommy. All right.
Sarah and Tommy are the friends.
Sarah and Tommy are the friends, right?
They are the lead characters of this story.
They are indeed. Sarah and Tommy will, go out with their friends a lot and everything. And because they're in a smaller part of Louisiana, one of the main things to do is go to Walmart, right? And so,
Hey, as someone from small town Iowa, yeah, we did a lot of that.
yeah, especially when you're young, like when you're like,
Yep.
once you are old enough, you go to bars and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but when you're young, you go in and you look at the DVD selection, and then you just kind of go sit on the furniture.
yeah. Or you talk about why certain things are in the $5 bin,
Yeah.
What happened to his career? Where's he at right now?
Man,
We thought he was
Christian
big in the
Slater.
90s.
Christian Slater ain't getting shit now.
Oh,
3 of his movies on one disc.
Yeah, they would do that, and that either meant you were an icon or you were like hardcore done.
It was one or the other.
Yeah.
Either like these are 3 classic films by somebody, or someone please buy these John Travolta movies.
Yeah, it would be like 3 Christopher Walken on a disc movies, and
Yeah.
only one of them was one that was like a classic. The other 2 were just things he did early in his career.
And some that he's in for like a scene.
Yeah. Anyway, so they would go to Walmart, they would hang out. So they finally, get to be 21, and they go to bars, and it's like,
So now they can buy drinks in Walmart.
Yeah, right.
really crack one and have it in the vacuum aisle.
And so once they're 21, they really start to go for it. And Sarah and Tommy both like drink pretty heavily because that's also one of the things you do when there's nothing to do. And Tommy goes way further than Sarah, though. Like, he'll get much drunker, but then she, even in her state of drunkenness, is still able to take care of him. And so it's never so much a problem because he's not like an angry drunk or what. He just gets like very bad on his feet, right? Like, he's a faller, okay? He's a tipping risk, all right? And one day, while they're all out drinking and everything, Tommy's pretty far gone, and he slumps next to the table. And as he's slumping next to the table, everyone thinks he's falling out of sliding, falling out of his seat slowly. And he's not. He's like, someone even tries to pick him up, and he's like, no, I'm good. And he's slumped, like, kind of still half in the chair, kind of leaning off the table, kind of on the ground a little bit. And he shifts over to where, like, one of his knees is actually on the ground and his butt is fully out of the seat. And he looks up at Sarah and he's like, will you marry me? And then Sarah, who's like not that drunk, gets furious. Gets so, but not why you think, gets so angry and goes, Tommy, you did this already.
That night or
a different time when they were alone. Tommy was a little bit drunk, which she thought was a little bit drunk. Maybe he was very drunk. Got down on one knee, proposed to her. She said yes. And they were so excited and like, you know, they were like chill and everything like that. And then the next day, she couldn't find the ring, right?
Oh, and so he even had a ring with it.
No, he had a ring with him. He had a ring with him.
Oh, okay.
She couldn't find the ring, and she was too scared to tell because he literally just proposed like the night before, or whatever. So then she doesn't tell her friends, and she doesn't tell anybody because she can't find the ring. So she's freaking out, and then a couple days later, they go out with their friends. Basically, Tommy forgot he proposed. Stole the ring back because she left the ring she took off the ring that night and then like went to bed. So he sees it the next morning, grabs it thinking he must have left it out or something, has no recollection of proposing at all.
So she didn't lose it.
She didn't lose it at all. He took it back without remembering he proposed. And so then when he proposes again, she's furious because he's put her through this like maybe 2 days of freaking out thinking that she had lost the ring. And he's proposing to her again because he forgot the first time. And he's doing it drunker.
Listen, I get that. I think kind of though, everyone's even in this one. I don't know. I feel like because she was terrified that she lost the ring, was the only one who seemed to have known they were engaged. He forgot. I don't know. I think that might be just a good blank slate. Just because now you're bringing it down. Now it's like now we got to do a third one.
Yeah, now we got to do a third one completely sober.
So now we're fighting. So drink up so we can forget this one. And then we'll do this again in a couple nights.
100%.
Come on. Renewing vows? How about renewing your engagement every other day? That's how you keep the love alive.
Yeah, because I don't know how long this, like, I just from the story, I was like, was it the next day or whatever? And they were like, oh, it seems short. But who knows how long she thought she lost it and just tried to not mention it and tried to, whatever.
But also, look how much he wants to marry her, huh?
Mm-hmm. That he forgot he proposed.
Okay, that doesn't help the point. But I mean, he really wants to do it, so he did it a couple times. And it's and you can tell it's just what's coming out because he's drunk. You know what I mean? You know, as long as he's not like saying a wrong name or anything, you know, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It kind of feels like they were meant to be together.
Kinda.
Not saying they're perfect, but it seems like they're living on the same page.
Oh, man.
This is what I'm getting.
Hey, so we're actually going to wrap up this episode because Logan's camera died, and
Yeah.
I don't know how to help him at all. I barely know how to work mine. I think that maybe I've lit myself right, but I may have been coming in very dark this whole video. If I haven't, it's because of some great post editing. But thank you so much for.
Don't put that on me.
No, I'm just saying. If
No, I'm kidding.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and we are excited to bring you these every week and to check out clips and other little parts that we're going to be putting out of episodes. And thank you for rolling with us. Happy 100, everybody. And we will be back with more.
Yeah. Thanks for listening for 100 episodes. I'm still here. You keep looking at the camera and I'll just talk for a while. Yeah. I'm your your inner thoughts.
Yeah, I don't really like that. You've made it weird now.
Yeah, that was my goal the whole time.
Okay. Well, we will see you in a bit, and we love you very much.
Bye.
I love being in Seattle. It's dope here, you know. Feels like if Brooklyn had mountains. Yeah, it's just a more relaxed, seemingly relaxed pace of life here than I'm used to. Because even y'all's, I'm not critiquing, I'm just noticing. Even y'all's crime is at a slower pace. Yeah, I mean, like y'all still got crime and everything, but when it happens, it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, that is illegal. This didn't happen this time, but years ago, I was in Seattle and I saw, it was a very confusing sight. I don't know what I saw, but what it looked like from the outside, looking in Brooklyn to Seattle, what it looked like was this woman's purse had been stolen. But the thief and the woman weren't running. I think that's what confused us all, because we were, like, one of two things was happening, all right? Either a couple had an argument, the man walked away forgetting he had been holding his girlfriend's purse. So he walking off in a huff, and then she following him because maybe she knows whatever she said went a little too far this time. Or a man with very little commitment to his craft stole a woman's purse and then casually walked off. And then a woman who must not care about the purse decided, I'll go get it. It was so confusing because the man was walking, and he was walking like casually, just walking, holding the purse, but just walking. And then the woman behind him is like, hey. And then at one point she leaned towards the purse to grab, the strap. And the man was like, huh. That's when I had to reassess the whole situation. Because what if it was not this woman's purse? What if this woman is the lazy thief? What if this man is just trying to have a day out with his purse and
This woman who likes the purse is like, I would like to have that, and I don't plan on paying or running. And they just continue like that down the street. Hey, hey, hey. I watched them do this into the distance. I didn't want to get involved because you ever get involved in an argument and you pick the wrong side, and now you don't know where you stand. You see two people arguing and everything. It's like you try to step in, try to be not necessarily a hero, but just a good Samaritan. Hey, what's the problem here, right? And then you feel like at the end of this thing you should have just left it alone. One time, I was doing a bar show, and we get out of the bar show, and in the parking lot is this couple having this shouting match, and this big old dude and this tiny woman, and he's not moving in a way that's threatening her, but he is like just yelling at her real loud, and she's yelling too, but he's got a booming voice, and she just can't match his level, and they are getting like a little closer. He's still not like bucking up or anything. It's just, if anything, she's walking up to him, I guess, to make her point, a little bit more clearly. And so, I don't know, my friends and I saw this, and I just walked over, just being like, hey, y'all good? What's with all this yelling? And admittedly, I was talking to him. This is a big old dude yelling at this tiny woman. And I'm in my head, I'm like, all right, hopefully, if I step in, somebody will back me up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not big enough to stop him, and I don't know the proper techniques, but if I throw myself at him and somebody else is coming, then maybe together we could come up with something to do. And so he's yelling, she's yelling. I'm like, hey, y'all good? Y'all good? What's up? What's up? Calm down, bro. What's up? And then he's like, she poisoned my dog. Because I had everybody looking at me from when I said I'm gonna go say something. And then they heard that part, and then I'm like, I wish I was over there with y'all, because y'all were in the minding your business section. That looks like a better section to be in. And I didn't know what to do, because I don't know what their history is, but if the most recent thing that has happened is the poisoning of the dog, if the only thing that has happened is the poisoning of the dog, I think he might be in the right to raise his voice, to have a little volume, I don't know the condition of the dog. And so he says that to me, and in the moment, they had both stopped yelling. They were both looking at me. And then the people who I left, my friends from the show, were also looking at me. And in my head, I'm like, well, this really shouldn't be on me. That's crazy. I came over to diffuse the situation, and then I became diffused. And so I'm like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? She poisoned my dog. And then everybody's just staring. And so I'm looking at my friends, and I turn back to those two, and I go from looking at him to looking at her, and I go, stop it. Nah, I hate picking the wrong side. It sucks. I've been watching the news, and I can't help but be taken aback what's going on between people and the companies that these people buy from. Target they know. Believe me. Target has been in
more than hot water. They have been boycotted this year because Target, they're an interesting case because they took it upon themselves to try to be, or at least seem, super inclusive of everyone. Now, these companies aren't people. They're trying to make money, and the hope there is that everyone will want to spend their money here if we look like we're for everybody. That's the idea that goes into it. And a lot of people would say that that's just good business. You want to appeal to as many people as possible, so as many people as possible buy your product or products, right? And so they did that. They took it upon themselves to be the place where it's like, look, Target, you can come here, you can get anything. It doesn't matter who you are. We'll make up products just for you. All right? When your month comes around, we're going to make products. We're going to make products that nobody ever made before because nobody asked for. We are going to blow your mind with our products just for you. And they did every year. They managed to blow my mind by making a product that, as a black person, I never knew I didn't want to see. Black History Month would come around and then they'd hit you with something where you're like, do you know any black people? Every product that Target came up with for black people during Black History Month felt like they came up with it off a rumor. Do you ever, in my head, I'm like, there's no way a black person pitched this thing, you know? It would just be like, it would be like grape flavored. You're groaning like you didn't see it too. Like, it just be like grape flavored root beer or something. It'd be like, hi, I don't know who told you to do this. They would come out with stuff that made you go, okay, well, even if a black person pitched you this, there's no way you're going to make enough money off of this new product to make it worth it. Like, in my head, I was like, selling this for a month doesn't make sense. I think you have a lot of leftover grape flavored root beer with nowhere to go. And so Target didn't just do it to, black people. They did it to everybody. All of my friends got a special month at Target that made them go, this is odd. And they never got the response that they wanted. Like, I'm sure Target was like, they'll love this. It's Pride Month, they'll love this. But none, not a single one, not any of my queer friends ever said, we gotta get down to Target. They got that rainbow volleyball. You know that rainbow volleyball that we love because rainbow is our whole personality. You know how we've never wanted anything unless it was rainbow. People do to queer people with rainbow what they do to like black people with products sometimes, where they'll be like, I don't know how to market it to black, just make it music, I guess. Try to get more black people to, I don't know, eat at Burger King. They're like, what about some drums? And so that's one of the things is that Target in their efforts would sometimes still get into like these mini scandals off of people being like, what's the plan here? Some people would be offended sometimes. And then, there's obviously the thing online where people would get mad at the people getting offended. They're offended, the people are offended. And then they take up for Target, kind of, but then they don't even want the product. It's not like they want the product. And so they're taking up for Target because they're like, hey, we like grape flavored root beer over here, right? That never happened. It was always someone like, they made it for you. Why are you so offended, right? And then taking up for Target as if they want a rainbow volleyball. Very weird. It's like a very weird investment to get into like a product that nobody is buying. And then Target would try to like sidestep. They try to come up with something else. It would be worse. It'd be so much worse. Next year they're like, we're gonna do right by everybody. This product is gonna kill them. All right, they're gonna love it. Watermelon paper plates. And then they see the article and they're like, okay, maybe that was bad. I don't know. Maybe, how was I supposed to know? It's not like any black people are like in the C-suite, so. You know, there was one too that cracked me up. This one genuinely is very funny to me. Like none of them really offended me, but I really couldn't get offended at this one because it was so funny. So basically, Black History Month came around and they had made a bunch of like prominent black leaders, these magnets with a bunch of prominent black leaders on them, and all of the magnets were like labeled to the wrong person. Like it was you could just tell whoever did it that day. Like they were looking at Booker T. Washington, they were like, Muhammad Ali. Like, I just don't know who that product's for. Like personally, I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know who was like, oh, life is good. It's almost perfect. But you know what I don't have? Martin Luther King on my fridge. and sometimes people were more than just offended by these products. Sometimes people felt like that this was like a direct mocking or something, you know, and so then they would boycott Target. And a lot of these previous boycotts, I don't really know how much market value, I don't really know how much stock went down because there wasn't really a unified front on some of these boycotts. I'm sure they hurt, but they didn't make news in how much they hurt, you know. And then in 2020, in the wake of George Floyd's murder, right, Target, like a lot of companies, made pledges. They made pledges. Target pledged somewhere in the neighborhood of like $2 billion to black businesses over time and $100 million to black communities also over time. And yeah, that was you know, you look back at 2020 and you remember 22. You remember what everybody was like, we gonna stop being racist. Remember that? Remember in 2020, I mean, we were all in our rooms. Everybody was like, who would I even be racist to? They're not here. You know how hard it is to be racist when they not even here. You know, we're gonna stop it. We're all gonna stop it. Companies pledge to stop it. People pledge to stop it. Everything. And then we got outside and we were like, oh, I remember. This is America. Come on now, we gotta do a little racism. We said it, but come on, we said a lot of things, all right? We said we were gonna learn another language. We didn't do that either. We were inside. You say crazy stuff when you get cabin fever, like I'll stop being racist. No. And so then you have the next few years where Target themselves, no one was talking to Target that I know of. Nobody had put a target on Target to like be the great hope of black business. They got involved. They were like, and we'll do $2 billion, but nobody was looking at them that I know of. They just inserted themselves, you know, like an annoying person would. And they made a big pledge. That's a big pledge. Even if you were a multi-billion-dollar company, $2 billion is like a lot. And so you see when Target gets all into all the diversity, all the inclusivity and everything, that's just
to try to make money. I hope we can all understand that. And not just because they betrayed the things that they said that they cared about like 5 years ago. I think even when they were saying it, even when it was happening, we were like, okay. I mean, I look at a company making promises about how much its mission cares about people, multi-billion-dollar company. I look at that the way I look at, like, sexting. If you've ever been sexted before, depending on who it is, you've read the message and you've said to yourself, the thing I say to myself when I read the mission statement of a billion-dollar company: you're not gonna do all that. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. And I don't even know where this money was supposed to go or where it started going or if it was just for the press release. I have no idea. But I know that when Trump won, Trump immediately, day one, was like, we're going to get rid of DEI. We're going to get rid of all of these programs. We want everything to be merit-based and fair. So obviously we have to get rid of as many people as possible who earn their position over time. And so that's what he did. He started making moves immediately. And then Target, once again, could have done nothing. That's what's so crazy about the situation Target's in. They could have said nothing. Nobody was checking for the watermelon paper plates. In fact, if a Black History Month went by and Target didn't make a new product, we probably would have thought, wow, good on you. Y'all really have learned from your ways. Y'all really a regular store now. You're not trying to help or anything. You're not throwing out, Malcolm X, but it's Michael Jackson. Y'all are just being a regular store where I can go buy regular paper plates. They didn't have to say anything, but then Target came out once again, inserting themselves like an annoying person would, and being like, hey, we're getting rid of DEI too. People were like, oh, okay. Once again, no one was talking to you. And look, these are moves that are made for money. That's what they always were. Even when I heard about those pledges from Target, it didn't make me go, oh, Target, you care about me? I was like, all right, yeah, I guess the next time I'm on my way home, I need one of those, like, toothpick things. The thing that's like floss, but it has a handle. I guess if I need one of those and Target is on the way home, maybe I'll buy it at Target. That's as much as it moved me. But just because I didn't have a business and I didn't really know what this pledge meant, so it didn't change my mind about Target. I don't care about Target enough for my mind to be changed. I just went on about my life. And then whenever they made this statement of we're getting rid of all of our DEI too, I was like, guys, I still don't care about you. You can't move me one way or the other. There are other stores on the way home. But people who either were pledged that money or have been watching Target to make sure they kept their word, they noticed that statement. And they noticed that it's pretty convenient to get all the social capital out of making a pledge. A $2 billion pledge and a $100 million pledge that you haven't had to come up good on. And now you're going to end it just in time to not really get to get into it. That's very convenient. And so then there were people who called them up on it. They were like, all right, look, a pledge is a pledge. You can label it however you want, but you said publicly that you would be donating this money. And
you know what we're going to do? We're going to boycott. We're going to boycott Target. And then this Target boycott started. And a lot of people poo-pooed it initially. A lot of people were like, Target gets boycotted all the time. Didn't you hear about the grape-flavored root beer? But this thing was different. And there's a lot of numbers in it. There's a lot of numbers to the tune of $100 million to you know, more than $2 billion. This thing takes off, like really takes off. And admittedly, I found out about it late. I did. I'll tell you right now. I found out about the Target boycott very, very late. And I don't mean very, very late as in yesterday. I found out about it when I was in Target. I was in Target. And then there was somebody also in Target leaned over to me and was like, hey, we don't shop here right now. You got to see this from my perspective real quick. From my perspective, I had gone into a store. Into a store. I'm not thinking about his Target. I went into a store to get what I needed to get. And then while shopping, I was approached by someone who was like, we don't shop here right now. You know how perplexing that is? So many things were going through my head at one time, because the first thing is like, we don't shop here right now. In my head, I'm like, all right, do you work at like Walmart or something? Like, do you? What's your deal, right? Then I had another thought. I was like, okay, all right. We don't shop here right now. But you're in here. I said, but you're in here. And they were like, I'm in here to let people know we don't shop here right now. And I was like, oh, interesting. And effective, like I wasn't aware. It's just so funny to have somebody in the store to let people know we don't shop at the store. It just feels like the most, it's just the most like, what's it called? It's the most civility I've seen in what must feel like to the store, robbing the store. Because I put that, like in my hand, I had the toothpick with the handle, and I was like, oh, I already had it in my hand, but I guess I can put it back. And then I walked out, and that's money that they didn't make. It's like that thing is effective. And so I didn't buy the toothpick thing. I left, right? And in my head, I left, but I was also like, all right, that thing was like $6. So I guess they didn't get my $6, but hopefully they really needed it. Hopefully that $6. I love when a company who's done something bad need the money bad. Like, you know, like when somebody needs the money bad, they're like, hey, look, brother, look. If you can hold me over with this $8. And so, you know, I left. I went to CVS. To my knowledge, they hadn't done anything, so felt like a safe place to get the toothpicks. I've had something in between my teeth the entire day, so I need it desperately. Even when the man was telling me we don't shop here right now, he was like, ooh, you got... And so, yeah, so I left. And wasn't really sure what would come of it. And then on the way home, I'd see Target and be like, yeah, whatever. I'll make it to CVS. It's 2 more blocks. Really not knowing, because a boycott now is different than a boycott from the past. A boycott from the past, you had to. It was imperative that you used your body, and your voice to be there in real time. You had to go there. You had to go out you had to pick it outside of the store to let people know how you felt about the store. And the numbers that you had, it sort of dictated the narrative, because they couldn't run. They had newspapers that they could maybe run some ads in or try to create a narrative, but nobody could argue with what they saw with their own eyes. Not yet. It wasn't present day. Because now, if you want to boycott, you have options. You have options you never had in the past. You can be there with your voice, with your body, right? Or you could be online organizing a different picket line, organizing a different room full of people in agreement with you, outrage at this company, you think they've done something wrong. And it doesn't even have to be a worthy cause. Truly, that's what's crazy about it. It's like, it's the same as it's always been, but there's just different avenues to do those same things. So now you have the benefit. Instead of needing to fly everyone who cares about this thing and thinks this thing to the same space that you're in right now to be in a picket line with you, so you can show the company that hundreds, maybe even thousands of people feel this way, you can just be online. These companies, they're trying to be just like us. They're trying to act and behave like people. They want you to think of them as a person, which is why they do things to try to ingratiate themselves to you like a person would. They make pledges of things they'll do, things that maybe would ingratiate you to them and feel like they're your friend. They're not your friend, they're a corporation. But you can use the fact that they want to seem like a person to you to let them know how you feel about them. That's access that has never happened until now, And so you get all of these people doing it at one time, and it does have a compound effect. Because it's not as visible as it was in 50s, 60s, 70s, I think we sometimes lose a little bit of hope and a little bit of understanding of what a boycott can do or what a protest can do, because it seems like these companies have so much money that they can never be brought back down. But that's just not true. You look at Target from then to now, and I know market valuations go up and down. I know they fluctuate. Things are not set in stone just because they go bad for a while. But them going bad for a while is a wake-up call to the company. And people boycotted Target, even up until present day. I don't know when it'll be over, to be honest with you. I really don't know when I can go in Target again. And I'm not thirsty to go in Target again. I'm just like, it's on the way home, and I just have to keep reminding myself, like, no, we not, no, right? But Target has lost more than it promised. Target's lost more than $100 million, and has lost more than the $2 billion that it pledged. By the most recent estimate that I saw, and it could be different on a different day, it could be different in this moment, but Target, through this boycott, has lost somewhere in the neighborhood of $12.4 billion in market value. And it's because of people boycotting. I think a boycott is also difficult to wrap your head around sometimes because it's not doing something. You know what I mean? It's not, you aren't. It's not like like when you go and protest, you went and you protested, and now your throat is sore, your feet tired. But a boycott is like, don't. Like y'all are doing it right now. Like y'all are boycotting Target right now. You just don't go. Because I'm like chronically online, sometimes people get upset about stuff, and I don't get it, because it's not my thing to be upset about. Like it's not, maybe it's not my culture, or I don't have the connection to it that other people have. So, I don't necessarily take all outrage seriously, but when people are upset, I try to hear them out to a point. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree, but I'm like, let's see why this is such a big deal. And I didn't know about the attack on culture that's been happening this week. I didn't realize how bad things are out here. I didn't know. Admittedly, I didn't know. I looked into it as soon as I did. I had no idea the impact of changing the Cracker Barrel logo. I didn't know what this would do to people. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, what is Cracker Barrel? If you were sitting there wondering, what is Cracker Barrel? You've lived a good life. If you're sitting there wondering what Cracker Barrel is, you are doing perfectly fine. But just to bring you up to speed, it is a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, and they have a side that is restaurant. They have a side that's like little gift shop, knickknacks and stuff. It's very cute. I grew up in the South, so I grew up with Cracker Barrel, right? And Cracker Barrel, they look. Listen to me, all right? Sometimes something happens, and everyone is so reactionary now that like they don't form their opinion authentically. I saw this and I didn't care. And when you don't care, you're able to be at least a little bit closer to objective, right? So I saw what was happening. And they changed the Cracker Barrel logo. If you've never seen the Cracker Barrel logo, get ready. As far as logos go, it does the job. It says Cracker Barrel, and then there's a barrel. And then there's a guy next to the barrel, right? And the guy next to the barrel posted up. The guy next to the barrel is out here feeling himself. He's over here like, and the new logo says Cracker Barrel with really nothing else. We're really like just two ovals around it. It is objectively worse. I understand that the people upset are making it about something that I at least don't think it's about, right? Because there were people that saw them get rid of the guy and the barrel, and then they were like, this. The first impression was of someone who had a stroke over it. But people genuinely were like, this is insane. This can't stand. This is white genocide. Listen to me. I'm no expert, and I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. But I'm pretty sure that just as many white people are alive after they changed the logo as there were before the logo change. And any people who have sadly passed was incidental. I don't think it had anything to do with the Cracker Barrel logo change specifically. And look, I don't know who this dude was to the, like, I don't know if somebody just drew him or if that's like the founder. I don't know, because admittedly I didn't care enough to get into it. But all I know is that look, I'm not on their side as far as everything they're saying, but this is a worse logo. Like, it just is. They basically did the Washington football team to white people. They just up there saying what it is and not giving us anything else. Nah, it's rough. It really that's bad. Especially with that guy. That was, I don't know. Y'all did it. It said Cracker Barrel, and then there was the barrel, and then there was the guy. Y'all being rude, not me. And so, yeah, Cracker Barrel was facing immense backlash, threats of a boycott. They done with Cracker Barrel over here. And admittedly, look, if we're talking business for a second, just business, it is kind of wild that the CEO said something to the effect, this is what I've read, the CEO said something to the effect of, MAGA doesn't have to eat here, we'll respect their decision not to, right? So they got directly called out. They got directly called out by this CEO. I don't even know what prompted it. I don't know what the question was that led to that answer. But I will say, look, we talking business, from business. Remember, business. I'm gonna throw it out there, and I could be wrong. I love being wrong. I could be wrong, but I do think they were the only ones eating there. So, like, that would be like the dude at the Red Hat Company being like, we don't need MAGA. It's like, unless there's a new baseball team, I think you might. No, it was truly wild. And now MAGA's had a insane backlash. Look, I don't know what's bots and what's actually people upset. All I know is I've seen a lot of tweets. A lot of tweets being like, I can't believe, look at these. You know what's funny too? It's like sometimes people get mad at you and they start describing you in their anger. And it doesn't sound as bad as they think it sounds, but because it's what they're mad at you about, it sounds bad. I saw this one tweet that was like, look at this woman. She single-handedly tanked Cracker Barrel stock because she wanted to be a woke girl boss. She wanted to put her whole life into her career, and then she rose to the level of CEO. Only to tank the company, though. She tanked the company. And yes, she's a young CEO, but she tanked the company. I'm just like, as you list the things, like as I was reading the tweet, I was like, I mean, outside of like 8 of these words, this is a good LinkedIn profile. That's why it almost felt like a bot, because it was like complimentary and angry at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, after her departure from this company, she came to Cracker Barrel, where she quickly rose through the ranks, only to tank the company, but quickly rose through the ranks. Okay. And like, that's the other thing that's frustrating about being online right now, is like, because so many people are not clear with the joke they're trying to make, I don't know what is a joke as far as like the remodel and redesign of Cracker Barrel, because that's also what's happening. They changed the logo, but changing the logo is what companies do when they're just floating something. They're just throwing the idea out there to sort of test the market reaction. Maybe they've already actually changed the logo, but it's very easy for a company to tweet out from the company account, what do y'all think about this logo? And do your market research that way. It's simple enough. But they said that not only were they changing the logo, they were going to remodel and redesign 500 locations, is at least what I read. And I saw a picture of the redesign. Look, I already wasn't eating at Cracker Barrel, so it's really like no stress to me. But for those that love Cracker Barrel, I was a little stressed out for them because they really trying to modernize it, I guess. And the reactions to it were interesting. The reactions to it, it blew my mind a little bit. Because there were people genuinely being like, this is an erasure of American culture, and it is an erasure of white culture, like white heritage and everything. And like, I've been to a Cracker Barrel, and yes, it's very white, but like, I'm not even saying Cracker Barrel is bad. I'm just saying, like, oh. I'm trying to like figure out how to word this. Like, it's like, if you want to just talk about like white culture, like if you concerned with like white heritage, it's just Cracker Barrel should be so low on that. You know what I mean? I've grown up around white people. I've known white people my whole life, and very few have ever mentioned Cracker Barrel when it wasn't at the next exit. Like, I didn't know it meant this much to white people. That's ignorant of me. I am sorry to be walking around in America of all places, not knowing how important this was to your heritage and culture. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for anybody, but I feel like even white people read that and were like, eh? No, I've had Cracker Barrel because, you know, I've been on the road, and I've always had it when it was like the last stop. It was like you either eat now, because they know where to put the Cracker Barrel. You either eat now, or you wait 35 minutes until the saddest McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's either like, look, you either have a burger or some pancakes, or you wait 35 minutes to be poisoned. You can decide. You can either have a little too much syrup on your pancakes, or, you know, have the Snickers flavored hemlock. It just makes me mad. They're not even trying to be food anymore. They're like, no, we put the fryer is in the floor now. Like, we just... It doesn't change. It does not change. I have a friend he's sweet. He's a good person. He's a very good person. But he is like gross. That's just a fact. I'm not being mean. I've told him to his face. And he has before, you know, eaten in his car to the point of not knowing that he had like a wrapper in his car, and to the point of like maybe not finishing his meal in the car, going inside, and to the point of having an old burger in his car for quite a while. And a McDonald's burger, to be fair, not just picking on McDonald's here, any burger left out for long, for days, for road trips will smell. My problem is a McDonald's burger left in your car for a month. Stop smelling. Food is supposed to go through a process. Whatever that food is, it could be fruits, it could be vegetables, it could be meats, right? It could be everything except like maybe seeds are supposed to go through a change.
They get to a point where they're growing. They get to a point where they're ripe. Even if it's meat, you get to a point where the animal is killed, the animal is prepared, and then the meat is there to be eaten. Even with processed food, the process is usually to extend the shelf life of the food, but there's still a time to eat it and a time to not. And the fact that McDonald's goes through the process, like the burger goes through the process, they actually, I think, kill a cow. They actually, I assume, make a burger. And then they actually sell it to you. And then maybe you get two, and then you only have time to eat one. And then maybe it falls off the passenger seat, and then it slides back because you were making a sharp left turn because you don't know how to drive. So you change lanes last minute when you're on the highway like a lunatic who's trying to get killed, who's trying to be injured in a car accident. And so you swerve, and then that swerve slides the burger under the seat, and you go about your life. You get home, you go to work the next day, you come home, you go to work the next day, you come home, and you do start to smell something. But because you're gross, you're not going to do anything about it. You just sort of know that you smell it. You're aware that there is a smell. You just are thinking about it sometimes like, never mind. That's the thought process of someone who is nasty. Because you know it's in your car, you know it's here, and you recognize it from before, from the last time you went, nah, probably not a big deal, probably not worth addressing. And then you wait. You wait until a friend, a good friend, a person who is not nasty, person named Josh gets in your car because you offered them a ride. And when you take one of your famous left turns and almost hit the car in front of you, you slam on the brake. And when you slam on the brake, something slides to the front of the... Something hits poor Josh's foot. Josh, being inquisitive, looks down and sees a fully wrapped McDonald's burger, and reaches down, and there's a feeling of the burger. A little tough. And then I'm like, oh, your burger fell. And then you disgusting freak, you go, what burger? And I'm like, this burger. And then I hold up the burger, and then you go, I haven't had McDonald's in weeks. And then Josh goes, oh. It's either that or Cracker Barrel, okay? And look, a part of me understands where people are coming from. A part of me understands that some people hate change. Some people love the nostalgia of going to Cracker Barrel. Some people they like it as a restaurant, and they would prefer it stay the same. That's actually pretty normal. I even get upset sometimes when a grocery store that I like switches up the aisles a little bit. They're like, actually, we figured that the noodles should go over with the pasta. We had broken it up by ethnicity of the foods, and then we were worried that looked bad. So then we just put every noodle-shaped thing together, the noodles, the pasta, even just long sticks, they all on the same aisle right now because we're one people. We don't want to break people off and make people be like, oh, you're not as good, you gotta go further in the store and to aisle 8 because you like this sort of noodle. We just put everything in one. Even then, Even when that's their reason, I'm like, ugh, why'd you have to change it? I knew where it was. Now I got to be in here longer. And so I get people who are like, oh, I just don't like it. I don't get people who are like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. That always like ends up, I don't know, people always end up telling on themselves in that regard. If this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, that a company you don't own changed their logo that you only looked at when you went. I don't know who loves Cracker Barrel enough to have the logo in a frame and kiss that picture every night before bed. I don't know what sort of Cracker Barrel freaks are out there. But yeah, the backlash has been stiff. It was swift. It happened quickly. They announced this change, and then they lost, apparently, $100 million in market value. I didn't know there were that many people to be upset about Cracker Barrel in dollars. I don't know if Cracker Barrel could afford that. The knickknacks are only like $2, so. No, they're in hot water right now. You just never think of the word valuation when you think of Cracker Barrel. Do you know what I mean? Like if Cracker Barrel, if they had been talking about Cracker Barrel on like Wolf of Wall Street, it would have been because the main character was smoking crack out of a barrel. You know what I mean? Like, wild to me that people are this upset. And I don't know, that's what I find interesting about like boycotts and protests sometimes, is that it just needs to be intentional to be effective, you know? And it could happen to any company. They forget that all the time, that it could happen to any of them, you know? But it just doesn't happen often enough. You know, they've consolidated to a point, they've built up monopolies to a point where if you're going to participate, you have to buy from one of them or some of them some of the time. And that's the situation we find ourselves in, you know? And then it's nice when you get a little glimmer of hope when people decide to, you know, vote with their dollar and say, if this is how you feel about me, Target, then nah. Then no. And then, while you may not be Target's #1 customer, you may not be a Target head. Them not getting your $3.50, them not getting your $26.42, them not getting your $100, them not getting your $5, them not getting your $3, them not getting your $485 you're moving, them not getting all manner of money from you starts to equal up to about $100 million. And because of the system that we live in, you know, very few of us, and I say us as in all of America, will have that much money to move. That is a very minute part of the entire population that has that amount of money to move, but together we have that much money to move. You know? And because these companies are not people, because people you can reason with, people can understand something that is based in logic, you know? But companies don't. Companies only understand gains and losses. And so the only way to make them understand is to make them lose. And make them lose so much that it hurts, and it really hurts. And then maybe when it really hurts, they'll make a change, not because better people are there, not because they fired a CEO and then hired a better person as a CEO. I don't know that many CEOs, but I imagine at a certain point, they have a similar outlook on the company and a similar outlook on the employees. I think that because of the system that we've built, when it comes to corporations, you're going to find very few compassionate CEOs or just incredibly reasonable people who want to do what's best for the customer. That might be what they say, but what the company does is different. And so I think that inside of all of that, you make the company hurt until someone comes along and maybe their background is in accounting, maybe they're a sociologist, who knows, maybe they started in PR, but they know we have to reverse course or else the hurt will continue. And then you get what you want. You get what you boycotted for, what you protested for. These things are still possible, and it is simple, it is not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. We are at an advantage. We're at an advantage that the people in the 50s, 60s, and 70s weren't at, because we don't need to be there all the time with our body using our specific voice. We can organize online. We can organize in person as well. We can build community around a cause. And then we can exact that cause to the tune of $100 million, you know? And then when that thing happens, maybe the next company will go, but you know what happened to Target.